how to feed your brain gym supplements and exercises. Hey guys, it is so good to see you here today. I'm really happy you joined this course. I'm happy to be invited here and to be able to share my know-how on supplements, nootropics, and brain hacks that will help you achieve optimal or better brain performance. Now, we'll talk about many things today. If you have any questions at the end, you'll have my contact data, so feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help you out, so I'm always available to answer any kind of questions you may have. Now, to achieve optimal brain performance, you need to do a couple of things. Firstly, you need to optimize your diet and your nutrition. You need to get the right nutrients in your body to be able to work on a level that you want to work on. And this is the most important step. I mean, whatever you do, if you don't optimize your nutrition and if you don't optimize and change your diets a bit, then you will probably struggle. So this is super critical and important. Then you need to take the right supplements and nootropics. Now, many people ask me, is it really important to take supplements and nootropics if we eat super healthy, right? And in theory, it probably isn't. If you eat super healthy, if you get all the you can get all the nutrients into your body. However, in real life, I mean, no one eats perfectly, or at least I don't know any person that eats perfectly. And secondly, our modern lifestyles are so complex. We are under so much stress. We are always running. There's so many toxins around us, and because of those and many other factors, taking the right supplements and nootropics can be very, very beneficial. Then we have to biohack our brains, and we'll talk about that a lot today. Of course, we have to hack our sleep. I mean, if our sleep sucks, then of course we won't have energy. We won't feel good enough. Our immune system will be poor. Our memory will suck. And well, because of those things, we definitely need to work on our sleep. And we also need to exercise our brain. This is very, very important because, how can you get the most out of your brain if you don't exercise it, right? This is especially important for focus and memory. And we also have to work on different ways to increase our productivity, because once we get, at least in theory, once we get the right nutrients, once we get our brain on the right level, then we still need to work on productivity to be able to squeeze out of our brain the most. Now, today we'll specifically look at the first 3 points. We'll look at nutrition, supplements, and I'll share with you some biohacks that will help you instantly upgrade your brain performance. So, in this course, you will specifically learn about the best foods for optimal brain performance. I'll tell you how you can optimize your brain with the right nootropics and supplements. And of course, I'll share with you some very interesting hacks for cognition. Now, who exactly am I? So my name is Greg Gostinkar, and I actually come from Slovenia, a very small country in the middle of Europe that not many people know and even less people have visited. But I can tell you it's a very beautiful country, so yeah, check it out. Actually, I should be... my government should, give me some funds for promoting our country so good. But anyway, so I'm the founder of Your Inception, and I'll soon tell you what Your Inception is. I'm also a certified brain health professional from Dr. Amen. Dr. Daniel Amen is one of the best psychiatrists in the world, and he has a special course, very advanced program on brain health, and I finished it. And I'm certified brain health professional now. And I'm also an expert on brain biohacking, and I'm also a certified brain biohacker. So just that you know about this. I've been reviewing nootropics and nootropic supplements since I think 2015. So it's been quite a long time now. and I'm also a YouTuber and blogger. Now, your inception. This is my how my current site looks like. If you go on it maybe a bit later, it may look a bit different because we're working on some things right now. But anyway, so Your Inception. I launched Your Inception, my personal brand, in 2015, 2016, because I wanted to mainly talk about nootropics and review nootropic supplements, and that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. So I am one of the most well-known researchers and reviewers of nootropics. Now, in addition to that, we recently started offering coachings to people who have issues with focus, with anxiety, with depression, with stress, who have poor memory, and so on. And as you will soon see, we are working on some really, really cool stuff that I'll soon tell you more about. Now, when it comes to reviewing supplements, I decided to review or to start reviewing them because when I was searching for the best supplements for myself, I was really struggling to find the best ones. And the problem was that, there's so many brands on the market. It's really hard to find the right ones that are high quality, that work well, that use quality ingredients. It's just a mess. And of course, all of the products have amazing reviews and everyone loves them and so on. So what we did is we developed a special system for evaluating supplements. I've designed it and developed it, and it contains about 50 points, 30 to 50 points and factors that we analyze. And based on that, our very simple algorithm gives a final score. And based on that, we get the final ranking of the best supplements on the market in different categories. Of course, best supplements for focus, for memory, and so on. And that's what we've been doing for the past couple of years. And we helped many people find the best supplements and also prevent them to taking the supplements that we really don't recommend. Now, I talked about nutrition before and about its importance. And if you're ready, let's dive into it. Let's start with the Brain Hackers Diet. Now, what exactly is Brain Hackers Diet? If you think this is another diet that will confuse you and it will compete with vegan, paleo, ketogenic, and other more crazy diets out there, I can tell you that's not the case. So actually, we developed Brain Hackers Diet just to help you find kind of a save time and too much of thinking and researching. And into this diet, we just added the right foods, the scientifically proven foods and ways of eating that will help you achieve your desired results. So the Brain Hackers Diet optimizes your brain performance. It was designed in a way that it's not just healthy for your brain, but it's also great for your heart and gut. And as you'll soon see, it's very important to have a healthy diet for your heart and gut if you want your brain to work well. It is also sustainable. This is a very important factor for me because it doesn't matter if you eat the best foods, if you take the best drugs, the best supplements. I mean, if you're gonna either die very quickly or have severe health issues, or if you're gonna have a big negative impact on the environment, I mean, it just, that's not something I want to promote because it's not going to work in the long term for many people. And my vision is to help as many people as possible. And of course, this diet has to be and is agreed within the scientific communities. What this means is that we just picked up the foods and some special hacks, which I'll talk about, that are currently scientifically proven, right? Now, there are certain topics that are somehow in the gray area, and I will also talk about them. I'll give you my opinion on them, but then it's on you to decide whether, what you believe into. Now, there are 4 golden rules to optimal eating for your brain and your health that I want to share with you. And if you follow those 4 rules, you will actually eat better. than the majority of people. So first of all, you need to eat organic foods. Now, most foods that we buy nowadays are not organic. They're mass produced, sold in supermarkets. I mean, they travel all around the world, to get to your local store. And they're very dirty and produced in a way that is very toxic to our bodies, using lots of pesticides and other toxins. And this is really, really not good. So whatever you do, I mean, if you can eat organic foods, most of the time you will be on the safe side. Now, to help you out, I actually suggest buying foods from local markets. Don't go to supermarkets if it's not necessary. Just go to a local market or maybe to local farmers if you can afford it. That's just perfect. And buy foods from them. Buy local foods. This is the best for you and for the environment. Of course, I recommend buying seasonal fruits, also vegetables, of course, because if they're seasonal in the environment you live in, then it means that you're kind of used to them, and you've been used to them as a kid, and your parents have been used to them, and your grandparents have been used to them. So they're kind of the best for your body. When some experts say, not all foods are the best for you, I mean, that's true, but seasonal foods, other fruits and vegetables and other foods are definitely the best for you. What you can buy seasonally in the area you live in, and you've been living in for a long period of time, it is the best for you, no doubt about that. And of course, last but not least, you need to eat mainly whole foods, right? So real foods, like foods that are not processed. If you can follow those 4 rules, I mean, you'll eat better than the majority of people in the world. And those 4 factors are really not that hard to follow. In the beginning, it may seem a bit harder, but once you start optimizing your diet, you'll see it's much easier than it looks like. Now, this is an interesting picture, and what you can see in this picture, there's a connection between gut, where your microbiome is, and your brain. And as you can see, your gut communicates with your brain, and your brain communicates with your gut. And why is this so important? Well, first of all, your gut is loaded with nervous tissue, all right? And it also, as I said, directly communicates with your brain. And you can know that this connection exists if you are, for example, if you're depressed or feeling anxious or feeling stressed, or feeling extremely happy, right? You will feel this in your gut, right? Not in your brain, basically. You'll get this weird, funny gut feeling. So yeah, this kind of tells you that there's something happening on. So because of this gut-brain axis and gut-brain connection, there's a big influence on your mood, on your behavior, on your neurotransmitters, which are kind of a crucial elements and help you feel the way you feel. And because of that, you need to eat the right foods that are not just good for your brains, but also for your gut. And many experts, also many biohackers, forget about that. I mean, they give you certain foods that are really good for your brain, but not the best for your gut. And I don't know why they forget about them, but this is kind of a crucial element, and it will make the whole picture much easier for you. So which are the best brain foods? So I'll just drink a bit of water, and then let's continue here. Best brain foods. Let's start with leafy green vegetables. There's a nice picture on the right of some salads, I think. Even though salads are, green salads are not the best examples of leafy green vegetables because they're kind of not that nutrient dense. But yeah, leafy green vegetables in general have tons of minerals, vitamins, lutein, and even beta carotene. And the most important thing is that they contain phytonutrients, the so-called flavonoids and polyphenols. And these are very strong antioxidants and very protective compounds. They're extremely important for your brain performance. Now, some great examples of leafy green vegetables are spinach, really good, kale, collards. But yeah, honestly, I eat lots of salads as well. But yeah, if you can eat salads with spinach, that's even better. And I do recommend eating tons of those per day, but kind of at the minimum serving as, or try to go for a minimum of 3 servings per day. This will make your brain very healthy and happy as well. Now, on the left picture, you see broccoli, right? And broccoli is a representative of cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables are high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds, but also high in vitamin K. Some good examples are broccoli, obviously, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. Honestly, not many people that I know love Brussels sprouts, but they're extremely healthy. Now, with cruciferous vegetables, I mean, you should eat, or you should try to eat at least 1 serving per day. And if you really don't like them, you can put them in a smoothie. You won't really taste them, and then you're on the safe side. Now, one cool trick is if you're eating broccoli, if you cut it and then wait for about 45 minutes after you cut it, the amount of the super healthy nutrients in broccoli will actually increase. So yeah, that's a cool hack that you should know about. Of course, we cannot go without mentioning berries as one of the most healthiest foods for your brains. Why? Well, they're loaded with antioxidants and have high amounts of vitamins and minerals and also fiber. And they also contain flavonoids, and flavonoids can actually improve your memory. Now, that's a cool thing, right? So if you're thinking about people who have an extremely good memory, well, maybe you should ask them if they are eating lots of berries. The chances are they are. Now, with berries, you can eat different kinds of berries. I really like blueberries, but you can go for elderberries, blackberries, also strawberries, obviously. Eat as many berries as possible and try to eat at least 1 serving per day. So what do you see here on the left side? Well, if this isn't the shape of your brains, I don't know what that is. And maybe, nature is trying to tell us something. Yeah, so you should eat some nuts and some seeds on a daily basis because they contain unsaturated fats, omega-3 especially, and omega-6 fats. Now, if you're wondering why are omega-6 fats so good if everyone is saying they're not good, well, they are to a certain extent. So what is really important is the ratio that you need to worry about. So the ratio between omega-3 and omega-6 has to be somewhere about 1 to 2. So you can have about 2 times more omega-6 than omega-3. And of course, we cannot even know, not in theory, how good is this ratio in our case. So in this case, because of that, I do recommend doing a simple blood test. You can do them probably somewhere like in a local laboratory. Check it out. Otherwise, there are some online providers, at least in the US, but also in Europe doing that. I'm not sure for South America, but do check it out. Now, some really good examples of seeds and nuts are chia seeds, a must-have seeds that are important for omega-3, pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, macadamia nuts, my favorite, and Brazil nuts are really good as well. Now, I generally recommend eating at least 1 tablespoon of flax seeds per day, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds per day. And what I do with them is either I put them in my morning breakfast. I'm usually eating millet with some bananas, some blueberries, obviously, and some flax seeds and chia seeds. You can also put them into a smoothie, very simple trick. And then, of course, eat a serving of raw and unsalted nuts. and to kind of avoid eating any anti-nutrients that are found in those nuts usually, and to kind of increase the absorption of nutrients, then I do recommend soaking nuts before you eat them. You can Google the best ways on how to soak and how long to soak different nuts, but just that you know about that, you should be aware of this thing here, that this is important to do. Well, avocado is one of my favorite high-fat fruits, and yes, it is a fruit. And it's really good because it contains monounsaturated fat. So, saturated fats are not that good for us. Trans fats are terrible for us. But monounsaturated fats, they actually decrease or lower LDL, so the bad cholesterol, and they actually increase HDL, the good cholesterol. So that's why I do recommend eating them. And they can also lower the risk of heart disease. So that's what I told you about before in the beginning, right? So eating just for brain is okay, but I mean, if you eat just for your brain and then you get a heart disease and you die because of that, or really struggling, I mean, this is not going to help you. So you need to protect your heart and your gut as well. Now, coconut is a great example of high-fat fruit, but you need to eat in moderation. And the reason for that is that it contains a very high amount of saturated fats. As I mentioned, avocado, coconut oil, coconut and olives are great. That's so much about high-fat fruits. Well, here we have some spices. Now, spices that are generally really, really good. My favorite spice is probably turmeric. I like it. It doesn't have a really strong taste if you just eat a tablespoon per day. If you mix it wherever, I sometimes put it in my millet with bananas and stuff, and I don't even know it's in. Well, actually, I do know because of the color, but I don't taste it. And actually, turmeric can decrease plaques in the brain that can cause or could cause Alzheimer's disease. Saffron, a very potent antioxidant. Saffron is usually quite expensive and can be very dangerous at high amounts, but a small teaspoon per day, or at least now and then, a great thing to take, a great spice. Rosemary and thyme and even sage, they can boost memory. We know that cinnamon can actually increase your attention. That's why I add it to my breakfast almost every single day. And the good thing is it's also an aphrodisiac. So if you have those issues, well, cinnamon may be a solution for you. And garlic and oregano. So oregano and garlic can actually boost blood flow to your brain. And basically, if you take them, you should be more focused and have less brain fog. So I recommend eating, all the spices and many others. You can use them in high quantities all the time you want, and they are, a very beneficial thing for you. So feel free to eat them, and of course, they will make your meals taste better, which is an additional advantage. Lastly, we also have ginger. You probably know about or heard about ginger, and pepper. And maybe they're not as good for your brain as some other spices here, but they're extremely good for metabolism. And that's why I added them to this list as well. So, some other healthy foods. We have beans here, legumes. Now, there's some experts, a very small amount of them, but some experts that say, legumes are not that good, maybe they're not as healthy. They cite some questionable studies and so on. But then we look at for example, the blue zones. The blue zones are certain areas in the world, like in Okinawa, Japan, or in Greece, or in Sardinia in Italy. And there's one in Costa Rica and one in South, actually in next to California on the west coast. And they have the biggest amount of centenarians, of people living over 100 in the world, and those are extremely healthy people even at a very high age. And what do they eat every single day, or almost every single day? Yep, you got it, tons of legumes, lots of beans. And actually experts have figured out that beans are extremely healthy in general, for general health, but also for your brains. Now, you can also eat fruits with higher glycemic index. I mean, those foods will increase the amount of sugar in your blood, but if you eat them in moderation, not too much and not too often, you will be on the safe side. And then they will, provide glucose to your brain, which is your brain's primary fuel, and you need glucose. And fruits with higher glycemic index can provide glucose. So you should not avoid them in any way. And of course, we have whole grains. They have a high amount of fiber, which is crucial for the health of your gut. And if your gut is healthy, then your brain will work better. So eat lots of whole grains. You can eat oats, millet, barley, buckwheat. Those are some of my favorites. Yeah. Now, we talked about the best foods that you should consider eating. But are there any foods on the market that you should try to avoid? Now, before I talk about them, I just want to say one thing. Now, you don't have to eat all the time, 100% super healthy. Track every meal, track the calories, be obsessed with food, because this will not lead towards in the direction of where you want to go. What I recommend is trying to eat as healthy as possible, at least 80 to 90% of the time. So if you have 1 or 2 cheat meals per week, that's fine. I mean, who am I to tell you, how healthy and how much you have to eat? So the best way is to kind of have 1 to maybe maximum 2 cheat meals per week. We're all humans, it all happens. It also happens to us that we just can't stick to our diet all the time. And then apart from that, try to eat as healthy as possible. And trust me, you will have amazing results. Now, best foods to avoid. We have fish here. So why do I recommend avoiding fish if people in the blue zones also eat fish now and then? Well, the thing is that high fish consumption is actually associated with certain diseases. And not just that, it's also associated with terrible and worse performance on cognitive speed constructs. It is associated with slower reaction time, and dementia as well. And what could be the reason for that? Well, it seems like that the main reason for those associations are actually certain compounds and pollutants that are found in fish. I'm talking about mercury and other heavy metals and PCBs. And the thing is that our oceans are really dirty nowadays. They were not that dirty 50, 100, 200 years ago, but now they are. And because of that, it's really hard to find a fish that is really high quality and it doesn't contain any pollutants. And those pollutants can cause inflammation and, of course, damage our immune system and nervous system. And that's the biggest problem with eating fish. Now, yes, some people still recommend eating fish, and in the blue zones, they still eat fish now and then, once or twice a week. Now, the best way to get the most out of eating fish, so to get the omega-3 oil and maybe some proteins, is by eating small fish, small types of fish, like sardines, for example, but also cod is okay, salmon is okay. But this has to be wild caught fish. This is important. So go for wild caught fish. And whenever you eat fish, personally, I do recommend combining, eat them with chlorella pills, because chlorella binds well to mercury. So if you eat a type of fish that has some mercury in, and then you take chlorella, well, there is a smaller chance of having certain issues because of that. Of course, there are many sites that will tell you, and you can search for where to find the best fish and the cleanest water right now. But again, you never know. When you go to a restaurant, you can never be sure if the fish that you're eating that is on the plate, you don't know if it's healthy or not, if it contains any pollutants or not. And that's the big problem. Now, animal-based products. Meat, eggs, dairy. How about those? Are they healthy or not? Well, if we forget about the environmental factors, right? If we forget about the animals, right? If we just look specifically onto how those foods impact our brains and our general health, we'll figure out that we do not need to eat those foods, right? And what's even worse is that they won't do much good for your brain, and that's a problem. And of course, people who live in blue zones that I mentioned before, they strive without eating meat. Most of them eat almost no meat whatsoever. But it really doesn't matter what they eat. What matters is what's good for you. And those foods can cause inflammation. They can feed viruses and bacteria, which would cause and can cause gut problems. And of course, this causes brain problems. Usually people have such severe brain fog, which you can get rid of immediately after you stop eating animal-based products. And of course, there's a whole list of other risks. There are a whole list of other risks, such as cardiovascular risks, cancers, allergies. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Now, should you totally avoid those foods? Now, first of all, dairy. The problem with dairy is that 75% of all people in the world are lactose intolerant, and dairy contains lactose, which is a sugar which we can't process. So there's a very, very high percentage that that you are lactose intolerant as well. So dairy should be off the list without any thinking. Now, eggs contain choline, a compound which we'll soon talk about. But on the other hand, it's really not. The eggs are really not that good for us. And same goes with meat, of course. Especially processed meat is the worst. It's actually type 1 carcinogen. So because of that, I generally tend to avoid eating animal-based products. Of course, I also, for me, environmental factors are important. Taking care of animal well-being is also important. But just looking scientifically, those foods won't do much good for your brain. Now, if you still want to eat animal-based products, at least now and then, right? Then here is what I suggest. So first of all, eat the maximum 1 to 2 times per week. The less, the better. And whenever you eat them, go for grass-fed beef or eat wild animals. And if you eat eggs or chicken, go for pasteurized eggs and chicken. And this will have the lowest impact on your health and on your brain performance as well. And whenever you eat animal-based products, combine them with plenty of vegetables. This is crucial. So I'm sorry, but you cannot hack your brain without eating enough vegetables. Donuts. How about donuts? Well, yeah, of course, I suggest avoiding all processed foods and high sugar. So all processed foods and high sugar foods, because they contain trans fats, really terrible for us. But I also suggest avoiding fried foods, emulsifiers, guarana, sodium citrate, and other that are written here. You can find them in many, many processed foods, actually. Fast foods, I mean, obviously, there is no. I think I don't have to spend too much time explaining why fast foods are not good. White sugar, brown sugar, table salt are all terrible for us. Processed meats, definitely avoid them. They're carcinogen 1, as I said before. Processed cheese and dairy products. Refined grains. I mean, refined grains are have very high glycemic index. They contain lots of sugar, so no, don't eat them. Or, well, at least try to minimize the intake of those foods. Processed nuts, they have high amount of fat, or even higher amount of fat, and lots of salt, so avoid those. And all the condiments, ketchup, mayonnaise, barbecue sauces, and other sauces are really terrible. Refined oils such as canola oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil, safflower oil, corn oils, margarine. I mean, yeah. If you do not eat those foods, you will be so happy. You'll have so much more energy that I would definitely recommend avoiding them altogether. And of course, GMOs, genetically modified organisms. Avoid those as well. So, are there any other food hacks for optimal brain performance? Of course. So first of all, I recommend fasting. Now, fasting is more recommended for men than women. I'm not the best expert on that, but I know that if you're a woman, then do check it out based on your age and that to see if fasting is recommended to you. But if you do fast, I follow 16-8 fasting, so I do not eat any food for 14 to 16 hours usually, and then I eat all the food in 8 to 10 hours. But there's also a very popular type of fasting called 5-2 fasting, which means you eat normally for 5 days and then you decrease the intake of calories to about 500 to 600 calories for 2 days in a row. But this one is a bit more challenging, at least for me. Fasting is great. Do it. It will give you an additional energy push, and I'm sure you're gonna love it. Now, another thing is that I recommend eating a lower carb breakfast because I don't wanna. Well, you need to eat some carbs for breakfast to get some glucose, but not too much because you don't want to get a spike of sugar and then a crash that follows it. And in addition to that, I actually want to eat a higher carb dinner, and I recommend doing that because this is the best and the most optimal for your sleep. In general, I do recommend doing a full body detox 1 to 4 times a year. This includes, or it's mainly focused on going on to a longer fasting period and removing all the junk from your diet for like 7 to 14 days approximately. And this is really good to get all the toxins out of your body. It's important to do this at least once per year. And another small hack that I really like is that you avoid eating fruits after 4 p.m. So fruits, yeah, of course they're healthy, but eating them after 4 p.m. is not the best because we don't have the enzymes in our mouth anymore after 4 p.m. approximately. And because of that, experts recommend avoiding eating fruits. And yeah, of course you have to eat until you're about 80% full. This will kind of allow you to have a sustained energy throughout the day without crashes. So yeah, eat until you're 80% full. Now let's switch over to brain supplements. As I said before, if you eat a very healthy food, you may not need those brain supplements. But then again, they're very beneficial, so I generally recommend supplementing them. Of course, we have omega-3 here, and we just cannot talk about brain performance without mentioning omega-3. Omega-3 have been shown to fight depression, help with eye health, help with cognition, and promote brain health, and help decrease heart disease. Very importantly, they help people with ADD and ADHD, so attention deficit disorders. Actually, they're one of the first supplements that are given to those people. And they also help inflammation. Now, the adequate daily intake is about 1.1 to 1.6 grams. I personally take about 2 grams per day. Some experts take from 4 to 6 grams per day. Some extreme biohackers even 10 grams per day, which I wouldn't recommend because at such high levels you would need to do regular monthly blood tests, and I don't think this is first of all, necessary to do, and maybe it's a bit too extreme for some of you. So I stick to about 2 grams per day. One more thing I want to mention here is that personally, because of the problems with fish, I do recommend getting omega-3 from algae. So plant-based, vegan, omega-3, because they are the cleanest source. And actually, that's where fish gets omega-3, right? From eating algae. So you go directly to the source whenever you can, and whenever you cannot, then of course you find a middleman. But in this case, of course, you can go directly to the source. Then we have vitamins D3 combined with vitamin K2. Now you get vitamin D3 by exposing your body to sun during the day. Of course, that's not always possible, especially not during the winter. If you have winter, and sometimes or most of the times we work during the time when we're supposed to be outside. So that's why taking vitamin D3 plus K2 is very important. And you know, these two vitamins can definitely impact your mood, and of course have a big impact on your heart health, bone health, and immunity. And they're actually paired together. You can take them separately, but they're actually paired together in most supplements nowadays, at least in the popular and quality supplements, because for the balance of calcium. Now the recommended intake is about 2,000 to 4,000 international units. Now, if you spend lots of time outside, if you know it's like it's summer, lots of sun, then of course you can take a smaller amount. But during the winter and during the time when you spend lots of time inside, well, I do suggest taking a higher dosage, so about 4,000 international units. And of K2, take up to 45 micrograms per day. Lastly, let's talk about B vitamins. There are many benefits of B vitamins. What you should know about is that they help to maintain a healthy nervous system. They help to produce neurotransmitters, help reducing fatigue and improve mood, and important for attention and focus. And that's about it. Now, adequate daily intake is about, you'll see it here on the screen, of all vitamins. So about 1.2 milligrams of B1, 1.3 milligrams of B2, 60 milligrams of B3. Oh, there's an error. So it's 5 milligrams of B5, 1.4 milligrams of B6, 30 micrograms of biotin, 400 micrograms of folic acid, and about 2.4 micrograms of B12. And now this means this is an adequate daily intake, so it means it's enough. However, usually, especially with B12, the dosages in supplements are much higher. Is there a problem with that? Well, with B vitamins, not at all. They're not toxic at higher dosages, so you can take a higher amount, and I do take higher amounts of B vitamins. So basically, in general, I do suggest taking D3 plus K2, omega-3, and B vitamins every single day. That's what I do. That's what my followers do. That's what my friends do. That's what other experts I talk to do. And this is kind of a must to do to establish a good baseline. Optimize your brain with the right nootropics. What we're going to talk about here is what are nootropics, and we'll talk about benefits, and we will also, of course, I'll share with you the best nootropics that there are for different problems. So first of all, what exactly are nootropics? Now, nootropics are generally natural compounds and extracts, herbal extracts and mushrooms and so on, but there are also some synthetic nootropics. You may be heard of racetams, for example. Piracetam is very popular. So these are man-made synthetic nootropics. By definition, actually, nootropics are side effects free. Now, does this mean that nootropics cause no side effects? Well, not really. So nootropics can cause side effects if you don't take them as it is recommended, but by definition, they should not provide any side effects or bring any side effects. And of course, The cool thing about nootropics is they have short and long-term effects. Obviously, what can nootropics do? Increase your focus, your attention, memory, improve your mood and well-being, improve your sleep, productivity, motivation, and of course support your brain health. And that's why we talk about them. Now, there are many nootropics. Actually, I reviewed about 84 nootropics on the market, but only a handful of them are actually very effective, very potent, safe, and have been studied enough that we can actually talk about their benefits. And I want to talk about those nootropics today. So first of all, we have nootropics for memory. One of the best nootropics for memory is actually alpha GPC. Now, alpha GPC is a choline compound that is found in the brains. And as I said before, you can get lots of choline by eating eggs. But if you do not eat eggs because of because they're inflammatory and so on, then it is recommended to take alpha GPC in a supplement form. And of course, it has cognitive promoting properties. Now, the recommended dosage of alpha GPC is about 300 to about 1,200 milligrams per day. Bacopa monnieri, also called Brahmi, is an Ayurvedic herb, has been used in traditional medicine for many years, for ages basically, and it's a compound that has proven effects on memory, and it can also help to slow down cognitive decline. Now, there are many types of Bacopa monnieri. I prefer high quality and potent extracts of Bacopa monnieri, the recommended dosage is about 300 milligrams per day. Citicoline is probably my favorite nootropic for memory, but also for oral cognition, because it can improve memory, it can improve focus, and it can help with learning. Now, the recommended dosage of citicoline is about 250 to 500 milligrams per day. Now, citicoline is very similar to alpha GPC, just that citicoline can make you more focused as well, whereas alpha GPC does make you slightly more relaxed. Plus, alpha GPC is legal in the US but illegal in Europe, whereas citicoline is legal in the US and in Europe, and I guess in many other countries around the world. Now, many people ask me for best nootropics, not just for memory, but also for cognition, for brain power, for focus, for attention, and let's check those nootropics. So first of all, we have Rhodiola rosea. Rhodiola rosea is an adaptogen herb similar to Bacopa monnieri, and as a matter of fact, it goes well with Bacopa, so you can easily combine it with Bacopa. And the cool thing with this adaptogen herb and other adaptogens is that they can help you reduce stress and fatigue. And this, as a consequence, you feel more focused, more productive, and more brain power and less brain fog. Now, the recommended dosage of rhodiola is about 50 to 100 milligrams per day. L-theanine. We have L-theanine on the left side on the image. This is green tea, and green tea contains this amino acid, a very popular nootropic, because what it can do, it can make you more relaxed, but also more focused. That's why I say it's good for focused relaxation. And if that isn't a good term, I don't know what is. Now, many people combine L-theanine with caffeine for even stronger effects. Now, what caffeine does is caffeine increases your energy, and L-theanine makes sure that the crash that follows after taking caffeine is not as strong as it should be, or as it is when taken on its own. That's why this is a popular combo. Now, personally, I recommend taking 100 to 200 milligrams of L-theanine per day, but of course, you can take a higher dosage. Many people do, and it works extremely well. Phosphatidylserine, PS, is actually not a synthetic compound, even though it sounds like one, but it is a natural compound found in every single cell, and it's great for improving our mood, but also for cognition. And the recommended dosage of phosphatidylserine is about 100 to 300 milligrams per day. However, keep in mind that this compound is extremely expensive, and because of that, usually supplements contain a bit lower dosage, about up to 100 milligrams per day. Last but not least, lion's mane mushroom. This is one of my favorite nootropics. That is great for long-term use because it's a potent antioxidant, but also it's an anti-inflammatory compound. And the recommended dosage is up to 1 gram per day. Now, with lion's mane mushroom, not many people will feel the short-term effects. Some people may, but not many. I don't feel the effect, but it's a great compound for your brain health, so for long-term use. Now, we cannot talk about nootropics without talking about about mentioning the best nootropics for sleep, right? Because here's the thing: if you can hack your sleep, if you can improve your sleep, you'll wake up so energized that even if you have certain issues in the morning, if you're a bit too stressed for whatever reason, you'll still have enough energy to tackle the tasks, and this is super crucial. Now, which are the best nootropics for sleep? I want to talk about them quickly, mention some of them. We have lavender. Lavender improves sleep quality in about 10 weeks. This has been well studied and proven. And you can get in an oil or extract form. Now, if you take it in an extract form, so if you buy a supplement with lavender, it usually, so the kind of a recommended dosage is about 80 to 160 milligrams per day. L-tryptophan. L-tryptophan is a precursor to serotonin, and actually optimizes the production of melatonin, another very important hormone for sleep. And the recommended dosage of tryptophan is about 500 milligrams per day. Magnesium, a must-use and an essential mineral that maintains healthy levels of GABA, another neurotransmitter that is important for relaxation. And also, magnesium regulates melatonin levels. Now, melatonin actually automatically increases in the evening, and it kind of makes you more tired. It signals your body that now it's time to go to bed, and that's why it's good to combine it with magnesium because it regulates it. The recommended dosage of magnesium is about 200 to 400 milligrams per day, and I prefer to take magnesium citrate or citrate. It is just the best type for improving sleep. Melatonin, I mentioned before, it's a crucial sleep hormone that signals your brain when it's time to fall asleep, and the recommended dosage is about 0.5 to 5 grams per day. Now, keep in mind that melatonin is not a compound that you should supplement on a daily basis. It can help you now and then, but I wouldn't recommend taking it all the time, especially because it's a hormone, and you don't want to screw your hormones by taking the supplements. And if you take it more often, then take a lower dosage, but if you take it only now and then, you can also take a higher dosage. I've been experimenting with it for quite some time, and yep, I like its effects. Valerian is used for anxiety, but also depression. And according to studies, it is recommended to take it about 450 milligrams per day before sleep. Now, there are some other nootropics that can improve your sleep, like CBD, like lemon balm, which is sedative, like hops. But the problem with those is that we definitely lack studies on humans, on healthy humans. For CBD, you need to consult your doctor to get the right dosage. And for hops, we lack studies. And for lemon balm, the effects are not as strong, even though this is a proven sedative. But yeah, you can definitely experiment with those compounds, and you can actually find them in many popular nootropic stacks, especially for sleep, obviously. Now, we talked about nootropics for quite a while, and I'm sure you wonder, okay, I have this list of nootropics now, but are there any rules I have to follow? And of course, yes, they are. Now, first of all, I do recommend cycling nootropics. Now, what does this mean? This means that you do not you do not take them every single day for the rest of your life, but you cycle them. So you take a period of time where you take them, then you stop taking them, and you repeat this process. In general, I recommend taking them for 5 days in a row, and then not taking them for 2 days in a row during the weekend generally, or taking them for 3 days in a row, and you stop taking them for 1 week then. And then you repeat this cycle. And this is super important because you don't want to get dependent, and of course you don't want to get any side effects from taking nootropics. So I always recommend following the recommendations. If the label says take 2 capsules, do not take 4 capsules. If I tell you take 4 capsules but the label says 2, then well, you're probably fine with that. But generally follow the recommendations from either brands or experts, because that's how you will avoid the side effects. Now, more is not better. Many people take just a triple dosage of a compound that is not necessary. And some studies actually show of different compounds. Taking a too high dosage of those compounds is not necessarily better, and in some cases even worse. So yeah, keep this in mind. Now, it's also important to know when and how to take nootropics. When is the best time, and how, should you take them with food or with water, or on an empty stomach? So the easiest way to figure that out is to go on yourinception.com, on my site, and you will find all the information you need there. We talked about dependency. If you cycle them, you shouldn't get dependent, and you are on the safe side. So yeah, that's what I would do. And lastly, many people confuse nootropics with smart drugs. Now, smart drugs like modafinil, like Adderall, like Ritalin, are drugs given and prescribed by doctors for different health problems. And they're not nootropics. They have side effects. They may be very dangerous, and they can leave long-term negative effects. So I generally avoid taking smart drugs. You can take them only if a doctor prescribed them to you with a very clear intention and reason. But in general, try to differentiate between nootropics and smart drugs, because it is, and it will be just easier for everyone. So where can you find the best nootropics? Well, honestly, my recommendation is that you go on my site, yourinception.com, not because it is my site, but because that's where you can find reliable resources. You can go in the menu and click on nootropics, and then check for best nootropics for focus, for motivation, for sleep, and so on. There you'll find lots of data, like links to resources, to studies, and so on. And you'll also find a list of individual compounds, online stores, and advanced supplements that I recommend. Now, just keep in mind, I have to disclose this, that if you click and buy any supplements from my site, we use affiliate links, so we get a small commission. And if you don't want us to get the commission, then just search for the nootropics, get the right ones, and then just Google them and go directly to the web store of a particular compound you want to buy, or of a particular supplement you want to buy, and just buy it directly. That's how I will get no commission. Yeah, by the way, I have to tell you this as well. We are currently working on something special. Yes, we are developing some supplements, some nootropics, so stay tuned, because it's a big thing coming out soon. Now, last thing I want to talk about today is I want to share some of the best brain hacks for optimal cognition. So if you optimize your diet, and if you optimize and if you start eating and taking some supplements and nootropics, you will already be able to improve your performance dramatically. But if you can incorporate some of the brain hacks we're going to talk about in your diet, in your everyday, then you will have even better results. Now, first of all, physical exercises. That physical exercise can increase gray matter and BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And there are different types of physical exercise available and recommend. But for cognition especially, I recommend burst or HIIT exercises at least once per week, strength exercises at least 1 to 2 times per week, coordination exercises once per week, and mindful exercises, which you can do every single day if you have time. Sleep optimization is obviously crucial. Well, there are different things you can do, but try to sleep at least 7 to 9 hours per night. Make your room as dark and quiet as possible. If that's not possible to do, then use a sleep mask, use earbuds. This is very important to increase and improve your sleep quality. Then set up a routine. I mean, sleeping 7 to 9 hours per night is okay, but sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night, and going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time, this is even better. And be careful about your diet, especially, for example, caffeine can destroy your sleep quality. Now, caffeine's half-life is about 5.5 to 9 hours. So this means that even after 9 hours, you can still have up to 50% of caffeine running in your body. And this will impact your sleep. So if you drink caffeine, if you drink coffee, obviously, do not drink it afternoon. Drink it in the morning. And then there are some blue screen blocking devices that can help you out, improve your sleep as well. Breath work is great. It reduces respiratory rate. It helps with stress. Reduces aging. Yep. And improves your immune system. I think it reduces aging because it improves your immune system, but well, maybe there are other reasons as well. Now, I'm a big fan of the Wim Hof method, and you can find more information online. They have a free app available, so check it out. But I also like the 5x2 method, which works like this. So you breathe in for 5 seconds, you slowly breathe in, then you hold your breath for 2 seconds, then you breathe out for 5 seconds, so you slowly breathe out, and then you hold your breath again for 2 seconds, and then you repeat this a couple of times, right, up to 10 times, and this will make you super relaxed, super focused. I'm sure you're gonna love it. Now, regular meditation, I mean, this can be part of mindful exercises, especially if you do yoga or tai chi or qigong. But if you just meditate, yes, I do recommend meditating, especially in the morning. There are different types of meditation available. You can read more about them online, but Vipassana, where you observe breathing, is great for frontal lobe activity, and metta meditation, where you focus on compassion, is great for focus. We have transcendental meditation, where you focus on mantra, and this increases uniformity of the alpha waves. We have different brain exercises. I talked about them as well. I mean, juggling is amazing for your brain because it's kind of advanced workout, and ping pong is great. But of course, you have memory games. I'm a big fan of Dual and Back. So Dual and Back, you can Google it. Memory game is great for improving memory, also improving focus. But there are other games available, so you can just Google them. You'll find many options available. I don't want to specifically promote any products here at this very moment. And we have some other hacks. Listening to classical music has been shown to increase focus. The one page miracle is great. So basically, it means that you write down your goals, your personal goals, your business goals, so financial goals, and your relationship goals. And then you get back to this page and this paper, once a month approximately. And you always look, are you on the right way or no? I mean, this helps as well with cognition, because it kind of stimulates you to get towards your goals. You need a purpose. You need to find your meaning. Neurofeedback is a great tool and a great method to improve your cognition. Acupuncture, traditional Chinese method, is great, especially for decreasing anxiety and stress. And vagal nerve stimulation, great for decreasing anxiety and stress. So we covered a whole bunch of different things. So we talked about the best diet, the best foods, the best supplements, the best nootropics, and the best brain hacks that will help you optimize your brain performance. Now, if you're not sure how well does your brain perform in this very moment, then you can go to yourinception.com/brain-assessment, and that's where you're gonna get your brain health score, which is based completely on a scientific method that is used in about 4,000 clinics around the world. And this score will tell you on what kind of level your brain works. It looks at the different brain regions, like prefrontal cortex, like temporal lobes, basal ganglia, cingulate gyrus, and so on, insula as well. So it looks at what's happening in your brain, and based on that, you will get a final score, and the score will tell you if there's something you need to do, and if there's something you need to do in terms of optimizing your brain, or if your brain is already on a level that is just great. So that's something I definitely recommend doing. Now, you can also join our Brain Hackers Facebook group. This is a closed group, but we will accept all of you guys. You just have to follow certain rules, but that's basically it. And that's where you can ask questions, and we'll help you out to achieve the best results and to answer all of your questions you may have. Now, we got till the end of this video. Sadly, this is not lively recorded, so you cannot ask me questions. But if you do have any questions, as I said before, join Brain Hackers group, go on yourinception.com, send me an email to greg@yourinception.com, and of course, follow me on Your Inception on Facebook and Instagram. That will be very much appreciated. Now, at this moment, I would like to thank you for staying with me so long. I hope I wasn't too long. I hope you learned something new. I mean, you will probably get the slides, so you can go back. But you will also find all the resources on my website, so there is nothing to worry about. Thank you guys once again. Don't forget to do the brain assessment to see what's happening in your brain. And I wish you all the best. I wish you lots of focus, lots of brain power, and I hope you're gonna stay healthy and well. Thank you, and I hope we catch up soon. Take care.